Good morning, digital mentors. How are you doing today? I'm so excited to be here with you this morning. My name is Monique. I am the Content and Trainings Director here at Digital Mentors. I also host the new member orientation, which happens every Monday night at 5 p.m. Eastern. So I will see you again this evening for that new member orientation. If you are a member in our members only community. So I'm glad you guys are here. I hope that your day is off to a good start. I'm going to check our page real quick to make sure that everything is streaming appropriately before I dive into today's conversation, which is all about how your mindset matters. You know, a lot of my wake up calls have a similar message around mindset and where you're pointing your mind. And that's what these wake up calls are really here for, so that you have a place to go every morning, so that you can check in with yourself, see where you're at, how you're feeling, if you're pointed and aligned in the direction of the goals that you're setting for yourself. And then it also gives you the opportunity to kind of clean up the places that you need to, so that you can be more aligned and more focused with where it is that you want to go. So today's conversation with me is going to be a little bit about creating balance also. If you are here, please leave me a comment. Let me know that you're there. Say hi. I'm excited to be here with you this morning. And I'm excited to talk about balance too, because I think that our our culture has raised us to have like a certain belief of what balance looks like. And ever since the pandemic began, post-pandemic, like we can all clearly see that, good morning, David, that the preconceived notion that was once there of like, you have all of these areas of your life and you dedicate even amounts of time to everything and balance is possible. Like we all know that that's false now. It's just not true. So if you are someone in your personal life right now where you're trying to create some sense of balance because things feel out of balance, the first thing I want to invite you to consider is that balance for you is going to look unique and different. It's not going to look the same as it looks for me or anyone else. Good morning, Barbara and Mark. Thank you guys for being here. So that's first, like erase what all the shoulds that you have around what you think balance looks like, or what you think it has to feel like in order for you to experience it. Really, defining balance is up to you, whatever that looks and feels like for you. I have noticed that for myself personally, when I'm looking at like the whole spectrum of my life, the different areas of my life, the different emotions in my life, the different experiences, the times where I'm extroverted or introverted, or money is ebbing and money is flowing, all the different aspects. The balance for those things for me is not found in a 24-hour period of time or a 48-hour period of time. Those intervals for me occur more over a week or a month or 90-day cycles or 60-day cycles. All of us have a little bit of our own rhythms. So when you're starting to think of, good morning, Raj, good morning, Barbara. When you're starting to think of balance for yourself, I want you to think of how you naturally flow in your life, of how you naturally relate to time experience in your life. Because if you're experiencing some tension in like finding rhythm for yourself, or building new habits, or creating consistency, or anything like that, it might be because you're trying to make it look like someone else's expectation of what that should look like and not your own. So the more attention that you can give to yourself and the more awareness that you can bring to yourself and how you naturally create, how you naturally work, where you are naturally energized, and build your schedule around that, that is where balance starts to come into play. The other thing that's important to remember is that there are always going to be unexpected life circumstances that come in and sweep you off and away from any sort of balance that you were able to maintain and create. Good morning, Ursula and David. Thank you guys for being here. So that is something that I invite you to release any frustration around, because I hear that a lot too. It's like, I had these 2 weeks, I was really getting things going. I had a month where I had this really good stretch, and then this happened and it threw me off and I haven't been able to get back on track. That's okay. Like, that is not going to stop happening. That is the circumstances of our experience here in this life on earth. Okay. And those circumstances that occur that sweep you out of whatever rhythm or consistency that you've built are sometimes blessings in disguise, because maybe that happened to redirect your path so that you could pick up where you left off, and whether it's exactly the same or whether it looks a little bit different, but you're still stepping back into that energy of the consistency that you built, but it's in a different direction. So if you have gotten to that place where you're creating the balance and you're like, yes, yes, and then life comes and you're like, oh my gosh, like all that hard work is lost. It's not lost, because you've built that muscle memory, you've built that rhythm with yourself, and it will come more naturally to you this time when you step back into it. And you might be on a path that's better suited for the goal that you're trying to get to, or the experience that you're trying to create. What does Mark say right here? You're either in a storm, coming out of a storm, or one is on the way. That's absolutely true. And I don't hear that in a way that's like ominous, you know, like there is always those chapters of life. And so you have to work with what's in front of you while it's here, because that is what is available to you. So any moments where you're like beating yourself up, you know, for not being able to just meet like 100% perfection mark, please release that from your space, because it is okay, and nobody does, and you're not supposed to. You're a human being, and we are also part of nature. Like, we are part of the nature of this planet. We have cycles, we have rhythms, we move in different ways. It's not all a setback. I love this, Barbara. It's not all a setback when you look at it as a reset. Very, very true. Now, that's not to say that sometimes there's disappointments, you know, that come along with when you've built that path and you get knocked off of it, and now you're like kind of sitting in the hole and you're like, oh my gosh, how I just got out of this hole. How am I going to get out of this hole again, type of thing. You can allow room for grieving. You can allow room for like the pain and the emotions that come along with all of that, but don't stay there. Don't allow yourself to stay in that space. And it really is a choice. Like, there's a conversation of mental health and getting the support that you need, if there's like medicated support or even just talk therapy or anything like that. And then there's also this place where sometimes when we get in that hole, it can feel comfortable to us because we've been there before and we're familiar with it. And that's where you have to decide, I don't want this experience anymore. I'm done choosing this. I'm done choosing actions that contribute to this. And I'm stepping out and I'm finding my rhythm again. Good morning, Dee Dee. Dee Dee said that, yes, she stayed there for a minute and that place sucks. It really, really does. It does. And we're all gonna find ourselves there at some point. But I think over time, once we are in that hole and we've been in that hole enough times, we can see that like our identity is not defined by that. We are not defined by that. And then once that awareness is there, when we're ready to step out of that grieving space or that pain space, we can hop back into our flow, pull in the resources, the support, the conversations, whatever we need to like lift ourselves up, because you also don't have to do it all by yourself. There's a community here that's available to support you. Hopefully you have friends and family in your circle that can also do that. And there's plenty of people to hire as mentors and coaches, even here at Digital Mentors, that can help you lift and point you in the right direction so that you have that hope and inspiration that you need. Raj says, own it, feel it, so you can go through it and keep moving forward. Absolutely. Dee Dee says that she's finding her groove again. Raj says, allow yourself some grace. Yes, 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 1,000 times yes. And Dee Dee says that she's creating her own circle. Yes, I've talked to a lot of people where they're going through that experience as well, releasing relationships that are no longer in alignment, and like being strong in choosing that and knowing that it's okay to not allow someone into your energetic space or your business space or whatever it may be, because they're no longer a match. It doesn't have to be any kind of judgment against them. It's just an awareness of where you're at and what is supportive to you right now. So Raj is also clearing out her circle. Dee Dee, you say you're finding your groove again, and I like you're in our training, so I see a lot of your conversations, and I hear you say that. I've heard you say that more than once, that you're coming out of something. So I feel like personally for you, maybe there was some sort of chapter or something, and you're like resurging from that. But I just want to acknowledge you, because on this external perspective, just seeing you here and seeing you post and what you're creating in your own personal socials, you are out of you are out of that space. Like you are in your groove, and it may not be as like amplified as what you're moving towards, but I just want to let you know that like your light is shining bright every time I see you, and I always want to know more about like what's going on with what you're creating and what you're building in your life. So I just wanted to you're welcome. I just wanted to give you that acknowledgement, because I see you. I really do. Do you guys have any questions about or struggles? Like, where do you find it challenging to create balance in your life? What is that experience like? How do you define balance for yourself? I'm curious to know these things. And I also just want to invite you to begin trusting yourself a little bit more, trusting the wisdom that you've been gaining over this period of time, you know, that you've been doing this work, not only inside of your business, but on yourself personally. And that trust that you can extend to yourself will translate into your business as well. Don't be afraid to fail. Like, fail as many times as you can, because amongst those failures, there's going to be several wins that you wouldn't have had if you didn't take the risk to fail. We are all out here failing. And I know that social media and the way that we sometimes see these people who have like made it for themselves appears, but on the inside of their lives, they are the same as us. They are grappling with different types of uncertainties. They are figuring out decisions as it comes to them. They are stepping into new realms that they haven't been into before. There is no difference. Okay. So that comparison thing when we're on social media and looking, like, that idea of perfection is false. It is marketing. That is all that is. That is marketing. We are all people just figuring this out. Let's see. Robert says, yes, we see you, Dee Dee. That's awesome. So yeah, let me know, balance-wise, do you guys feel good with the balance in your life right now? How does that word resonate with you? Is that not a word that you use? And then also let me know, what are you attracting into your life and into your business just for today? If you leave this call today, where are you setting your intention? What are you calling into your business or your personal growth experience today? Mr. Fun David Mendoza says he is 2 years from 70 and he's excited for his next 50 years. I love that. It really does feel like just that conversation around age and aging is completely transforming. You know, like it life feels so much more expansive with how long and how far we can go if that is what is of interest to us. If you want that kind of vibrancy and that kind of life, it's available to you. Dee Dee said, thank you guys. This is why I love this community. Y'all really care. Absolutely. I'm cheering all of y'all on. And then being here as, inside Digital Mentors and seeing what Brian, Norb, and James are doing with the Rockstar clients, it is just such fuel. We really love being here. We love supporting you guys. We love providing resources for you guys to grow in the ways that you need to. So our gratitude here at Digital Mentors for your presence is immense. I'm happy to answer any questions. If you guys don't have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up our call this morning. But I really do appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope that you'll consider what balance looks like in your life. And if you've been struggling with any kind of self-doubt or self-criticism around that conversation of creating balance, I also invite you to dismiss anyone else's definition of what that is or what that looks like other than your own, because your mind and what you can get behind and what you can create is really what matters most. You're the one who's going to be in the game, and you can have people around you supporting you, but your intentions need to come from within yourself, because that's where the fuel, that's where the drive, that's where you can continue to plug back into your why of why it is that you're creating what you're creating. Mark says, I have to work at balance. I found that setting up my day with meditation, exercise, supplements, journalings, then getting into your DMO helps a lot. Absolutely. Because it's so easy, when you just wake up and you're on your phone or immediately go to your computer, you're in the world, you're in the work world, and it's really hard to separate yourself from that. So I'm glad to hear that you're making the efforts to have those moments of meditation and exercise before you begin all of that, so that you can get your headspace right, because that is the most important thing. It really transforms the experience of your day when you can start out in the right mindset. And I don't know about y'all, but I go through these waves in my business where it's there's space for me to relax a little bit, and then suddenly there's 2 or 3 weeks where it's every important deadline that was ever due is due right now and I have to figure out how to get it done. And those are the days, more recently, those are the days that used to put me in a hole and keep me in a hole for weeks, because I would be I'm failing, I can't keep up with this, I should be able to maintain my tasks, maintain my momentum, and it's just not working. Why can't I figure this out? And through my transformation and my glow up, my level up mentally, and Digital Mentors played a huge role in that, as did my friend and mentor, Kate Buck Jr. She plucked me out of my rabbit hole. Now I'm in that place where I can keep up that type of consistency, but it did take going through that process. And yes, starting your day with those things certainly helps. Thank you for sharing that, Mark. Robert said, I find that I must focus on my own lane. We're all in a different place on the highway, and that's balance. Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%. That goes back to that comparison conversation we were having about looking at social media and making assumptions about people's experiences, when really you're only seeing less than 0.01% of the things that are going on in their life. So keeping your eyes focused on where you're at and what you're creating makes a huge difference with balance. Yes. Good morning, Tanis. Hello. And Dee Dee said same here. She also says, I want to focus on my strengths more to help people with personal growth. So I have an invitation for you on that, Dee Dee. Because also I know here at Digital Mentors, attraction marketing in the past has been a part of that conversation. You wanting to focus on your strengths more to help people with personal growth. I would start setting that intention today and have that conversation with the universe, with your higher power, and be I'm ready. I'm ready to serve with like this type of inspiration that I have going on, that I want to share that light. I want to share that. And those people will find you. They may not find you directly, like you knowing that that's the conversation that you're going to have. But I know you already have experiences like this, I imagine, where people find you and they share things with you. And they're like, oh, I don't know why. I just shared that with you. And you receive it and you have something special to give back to them that helps them on their path. So look, I started last week already. That's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. I think it's neat too, because sometimes I don't know what type of like coaching you do or what specific services you offer, but if it is in like the business or marketing realm type thing, those conversations are always mixed together. You know, like you're having a conversation about business and the technicalities of what you're building, but mixed in with all of that is mindset and intention and, you know, where you're really pointed and what you can really get behind. So I love that all of those they're braided together. Tana says, I haven't worked on my biz for 2 months, starting all over again. Dennis, you say that, but I see you on all of these trainings and I see you on all of these wake up calls. So you might not be working on your business in the ways that you have in the past or in the way in your mind you're telling yourself you should, but you're still staying involved in all of these conversations. You're still attending trainings and watching. And that's like the study portion, you know, of building a business. So I invite you to clear that away, that you haven't worked on your business, because you have, just not, you haven't been building products, but you've been working on your business mindset by attending these types of conversations. So I see you too, Tanis. I see you too. Dee Dee said, people tell me things and feel comfortable with me. That does not surprise me. I get those vibes from you 100%, 100%. And opening up to like receiving those conversations is such a gift, because I don't know about you, but every time I have one of those and I come out of those conversations, it's like I've also received a gift in return, not only just being able to support that person in that way, but it's just that exchange of energy, exchange of value, exchange of care. And it's like a truly nurturing experience. You're welcome, Tanis. Dee Dee said, I agree. It's time for us to start building products. And in your personal life, it's so easy. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I will tell you something. So Yolanda, another coach that we have here at Digital Mentors, I was on a call with her and talking about my business. And one of the things that she said to me, I was like talking about kind of like what I was struggling with and all of these things. And she was like, no, what you are struggling with is that you are afraid to succeed. And I had to sit with that for a moment, and I had to visualize for myself, like, okay, what does success look like in my mind? And when I visualize the outcome of that, or the experience of my life when I get to that space, there was this hesitation or nervousness around like, oh my God, like what I can see that, what if I can't get there? What if I can't make that happen? Or if I do get there, then what? Then who will I be? What will I have to let go of? All of those things. So Dee Dee and Tana's talking about building your products and stuff. I really challenge you to be like, is it the failure that you're afraid of, or is it the success that you're afraid of? Because we've, to some degree, like we've been failing, you know, that's been going on. We know, we know what that experience is like to not always meet those goals, but to think about meeting them and exceeding them. And then like any hesitation around, can I provide fulfillment? How am I going to keep track of this? What if the growth is bigger than I can handle? You know, like those are fears around success. Yes. Dee Dee's admitting it's a fear of success. Yes. So that's what, when you're talking about building products and stuff, all of that is going to come together, but start to get your head behind, like, I am here to succeed. I know that God, higher power, will bring it to me as I can handle it. And if I can't handle it, I know there will be a resource around me or available for me to ask questions to so that I can figure it out, because you will. Okay. But like, let's not put that cap on ourselves, because we're aiming for higher places than that. Barbara says, a fear of success has been a thing for me. Will I be able to sustain it? Okay, so that is, I was in another conversation this morning where we were talking about patience, and that if you're feeling impatient, it's often because you're too far ahead in the future. And where you need to come back to is the present moment. And I would say the same thing to your comment, Barbara. Will you be able to sustain it? One, if you haven't completely stepped into whatever business you're creating, as you're building it, you do need to consider, if I set this up, is this something that feels exciting to me to sustain over time? Can I create this in a way where even if like you get to a point where it feels stale or you're getting tired of a process, that it's set up in a way where you can change your approach to that. Maybe you hire somebody who can take over the portion that you're bored with, and you can shift to a different dynamic. Maybe the products shift up a little bit. And I go back to our earlier conversation. I don't know if you were here for that, where we were really talking about balance. You can build your business in a way that feels balanced and sustainable and maintainable to you. They move at your pace, at your rhythm. You can model your business in whatever way is going to work with your natural energy influxes and your lifestyle. It doesn't have to look like anybody else's business at all. And hands down, I would say that being in communication with your clients, being in communication with the people who are purchasing things from you is key. Because yes, they're buying something from you, but they really are there because they want to be in your presence. They want to spend time with you. They like the energy that you bring to what it is that you do. And you have offered to solve some sort of problem for them. So that's why they're there. The will you sustain it is that limiting belief that's like step 10, and you're still on step 1. So don't even worry about that, because by the time you get to step 10, you are not going to be the same person. Your business is not going to look the same way that it does in phase 1, and you're going to have a lot more knowledge than you did in phase 1. So really bring it back to where you are right now. Okay. Tana says that she's 61 and has COPD, and she said shelf life. So I imagine that you're just feeling that time running out type of feeling. So knowing that, we all have a finite time here. None of us are going to be on this earth eternally. So my invitation to you would be to really sit with, during this time that you have here, what is it that would make you feel alive to create? And I know part of that is like income. Aside from the income, what do you want to be sharing with people? What do you want to be creating within yourself? Because part of the thing is, yes, I create products for people and they have an experience of it, but I'm also having my own experience in the process of creating the product and building that out. And so it's important for me to also be aligned with how I'm delivering and how I'm packaging, because that is part of the sustainability process too, is that I'm choosing things that I feel supported in, that I know I can confidently deliver. So in the time that you feel like you have left on this planet, where do you want to be showing up to invest? What do you want to be creating for people? And how do you want to be feeling as you're creating that? Barbara said, not even there yet. It's a powerful thought. We always want to jump to like step 10, step 20. And there's so much to do that's right here. That's right here. Dee Dee said, that's what I want. Taria, good morning. Hello. I wanted to meet a goal on this weekend, but it didn't work out the way I had planned. But I'm not giving up, just looking forward to doing better and getting better at it. Absolutely. And even if you didn't meet the goal, I imagine there was still some sort of steps taken in that direction. And like we place those expectations on ourselves. It's important to have deadlines and create that kind of structure, but it's also important to know that like life doesn't always flow, timelines don't always happen in this optimized way that we're thinking they should in our head, and sometimes we just have to flow with it. So I would, Taria, I would invite you to like, I know you already have a very positive outlook on this, but I would invite you to be like, that happened for whatever reason it needed to happen, and as you continue to complete that task, trust in the divine timing of how that ends up um, flowing out for you, because the timing is important, you know, and we can't see all of the things that are happening in the background. Dee Dee said, model your business with your natural flow. That has been such an important piece of my entrepreneurial journey, and really accepting myself and how I show up and what I am capable of, and as far as energy delivery goes, in all the aspects of my business, because for a very long time, I self-shamed like nobody's business because I couldn't keep an everyday timeline like everybody else could, because I couldn't, like, I owned a physical brick and mortar yoga, meditation, massage business with my best friend at the time for 6 years. And every month I found myself wanting to, I'm like, what classes am I going to teach this month? What classes am I going to teach this month? I always wanted to change it up and mix it up. And I had so much shame on myself for that, because I'm like, I'm a business owner. Why can I not create a schedule for a whole year and stick to it happily and show up inside of it? But that's not naturally who I am. And I very much ebb and flow with the energies and currents that are moving out in the world. And so now, myself looking back at that it's been 4 years since I had that space, I was consistent in how I delivered my classes. Was it every day exactly the same for a year? No, but I led weekly Thursday meditation classes for 4 years. And I may have taken like a month break here and there when I was regathering my energy, but there still was consistency. It was just challenging for me to see inside of it. I had to really step back and let time pass and see the places where I was actually like really being a positive contribution. And now I'm more able to know how I work. And I still have moments that come up that are unexpected where like I am wiped. I cannot show up. I cannot force myself to do anything. I need to rest. And on those days, I just get into communication with the people who are expecting something from me, a service from me. I'm not always 100% on time, but I do always deliver value. And that type of communication has given me the space that I need, where I've been able to let go of the shame and just trust my natural rhythms, because I know once I'm resurged and recharged, like whomever is on the other end of receiving is going to get 1,010% from me, because I did what I needed to do for myself. Okay. Dee Dee says, as she feels Utana, she'll be 50, and she wants to create a space for women that can support each other, have power hours, mastermind, support each other with other resources, good coffee vibes, like a girly sleepover. I love that. That's so needed. Like community is a craving that people are having right now. And the experience of it has changed so much since the pandemic, because we used to all, gather in person. And I think a lot of people haven't really re-entered that space where they want to be around people physically all of the time. But we still want that type of connection. So I think that's beautiful, Dee Dee. And you can start that now. You could do a beta group right now and just post and say, hey, I'm looking for 5 women who want to pay $50 a month. And for the next 5 weeks, we're going to get together and we're going to breathe. We're going to share. We're going to, whatever you would bring into that space. But I have no doubt that if you started that and you could do it in whatever method you wanted to, that people would be taking you up on it for sure, because they want to be in your energy. Tanis, you've been around since 2015 and want some sort of success. I totally understand that. I do. I've been in this game for 13 years, and it really has only been this year since I joined the Digital Mentors team that I've been feeling the kind of success that I have been wanting. And it's not, I'm still not to the goal of like my ultimate goal. And once I am there, that goal is going to change and, move to a different one. But what I have found the most pleasure in is finding my natural rhythms and moving with my business, moving with my life with those, because it's produced more results. And my mindset is behind like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm creating. Some products are a flop, some are a success. The ones that are flops, I just looked at what worked, what didn't, and then I create the next thing, So it's really just getting in there and playing and looking at it all as an experiment and making sure that you're accounting for your wins, because they come and they go, So make sure that you're documenting somewhere, journaling the wins that you have. It's important to keep track of those. Empowered women coaches in the making. Absolutely. Love that. Taria, you're welcome. Thank you for being here this morning. I'm glad that these calls help you. I'm here for all of the wake-up calls for everybody, and it's always such brilliant knowledge that all of our leaders come through with. You can check these out on our fan page, and then you can also go to the Digital Mentors YouTube page, and all of these broadcasts are also on YouTube. So you can tune into them there and share. I'm so glad that you like this call, Dee Dee. Mark said, self-shamed, lived there for a while. I can relate. Never heard that term before. Yeah, it's a term, Mark. Self-shaming. Oh man, it's a hard place to get out of sometimes. It really is. If it were not for some of like the strong, powerful women and people that I have surrounding me, it would have been much more challenging for me to break out of that self-shame cycle. But luckily I have people around me who are like shaking me, wake up, like, see your light, use your light. What are you doing? And then it was like this internal conversation of like, what am I doing? Why am I staying in this hole? Like, there's so much to create. And I had gotten there because my life had unraveled in different ways. Life circumstances came, and some that I created that caused disruption, in what I was building. But now, 3-4 years later, I am where I am. What happened, that hole that I was in, was hands down the universe detouring me, redirecting me, refocusing my energy towards where I can be of most service to myself and other people. Dee Dee said she was already working on it, so this was a confirmation. I'm great. I can't wait to see what it is. Please let me know. I want to see the details of what you're creating, because it sounds, I imagine it's going to be really wonderful. You've been stalling with it for far too long. Started with a book club to test it out. I loved it. So adding it to the space. Any more tips for creating a women's circle? So if you, I have lots of tips actually. And if you want to talk to me about that privately, I'm happy to have a call with you. And also I'll just say right here, decide if you want it to be open to an infinite number of women to sign up, if you want it to be a certain number in the group, because that does affect the energy and the experience of the group. If what you're really wanting is people to have that one-on-one attention and focus, have it be a smaller group, have it be a higher price point. If what you're wanting is more of like an open membership space where you show up to a call and you lead, and they're kind of doing things, assignments in the background on a Zoom call or something like that, and then there's a time to share at the end, that can be where you have more people in the group. So it's about what kind of experience you want to facilitate for these women. And then also if this circle is something that you'll be doing like monthly, bi-monthly, reoccurring, you can create a structure for the class, for the circle, where it's like this is what I used to do in our meditation classes. And I also did host a women's circle with tarot and oracle cards. We would come in, everybody, there'd be a time for like mingling, grab your snacks, sit in the circle. We would go through a breathing and grounding exercise. And then there was a worksheet that I developed. We would go through the questions and fill them out. We would pull cards for each other. If anybody wanted to share, they would share. We would close the circle. We would give hugs, more time for mingling. Everybody went on their way. So that structure was the same for this class that I taught mostly every Sunday or monthly Sundays with my business partner at the time. So those would be my things to consider, is like, what kind of environment do you want to create for them and for you? And then if you can create a structure for how the class would flow that you can replicate each time, it takes a lot of pressure off of you as a facilitator to know what you're doing each time. Because really it's the community, it's the participants that show up that bring the content and the conversations, that you're working with. So don't put that all on yourself either. My pleasure, Mark. Tana says, love your calls, down to earth, needed. Thank you. I appreciate that. I have no clue what I can create on my own. Tanis, you can send me a direct message, friend me on Facebook, and let's talk about that a little bit. Mark, you are more than welcome. Taria says, love this topic. I'm 50, looking forward to an awesome birthday on the 24th. Happy birthday. Still staying focused on the journey and trying to keep it alignment and with self-education, knowledge, industry. Thanks, Megan. My pleasure. I am so excited for you, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you create as well. So make sure that as you're building things, you're sharing it in the member community so that we can all check it out and cheer you on. Good morning, Anthony. Oh, wow. We have a lot of August birthdays in the house. I love that. Tanis, you said that you honestly don't know enough about anything to make an offer out of. That is not true. Send me a message and let's talk about it. July and August birthdays. I love y'all saying happy birthday to each other in the comments. Okay, guys, thank you for this amazing conversation this morning. Thank you for interacting and engaging with me. I'm so happy to talk to you guys about this. I hope that it has brought a fresh perspective to how you're approaching balance or what you're creating in your business, and just take this as like 1,000% permission to really tune into you and know what works for you and build your business around that. Because the more aligned you are, the more easily those things are going to flow to you. Okay. You guys are amazing. Digital Mentors team, we love you so much. We're so grateful that you're here. New member orientation will be happening in the member community tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern, and I will be there leading that. You can come and watch and ask your questions. And then we'll see you tomorrow morning with Stacy Hall for another wake-up call right here on the fan page at 11 a.m. Eastern. Thank you guys for being here, and I hope you have an awesome day.